O'Brien.
Good afternoon, everyone. Basil Chapman sitting in for Tommy O'Brien. This is the Tom O'Brien Show. I usually do the 10 o'clock, well, I always do the 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock show, the Tiger Technicians Hour. And my other service here is my newsletter, The Opening Call. So with that said, let me just run through these numbers. The Dow's down 202 at 48,502. I've been talking about this for a little while now, and my subscribers know that what we've been doing is been looking at this as a bifurcated market, that the oldies have now come alive, and they are the newies. I'll explain. And the newies, the ones that were doing just fantastically, are taking a breather. That's just the way I look at it. The other is that the generals cannot move ahead if the soldiers aren't following. So this is a move to the upside, very selective, Dow, but now you've got a broader move because you've got the IWM, the Russell 2000, the small caps. That's really important. Otherwise, it would just be a solo move. You've got backup now. So let me go through this. So in the Chapman Wave methodology, let me just do this real quickly because this way you'll understand what I'm talking about. I try to identify the lowest low bar. I have technical tools that I use to do that. And then we count each successively higher peak. When you go to a peak A and then you cross it with a leg B, that means that you're probably going to upgrade from a buy signal to a buy mode. As soon as I say buy mode or the chart announces that it's in a buy mode, it means there should be at least 4 higher peaks. It can go to E, F, and G. It could go even higher, or you could have the sharpest move down from the D. Look at this D here at 48,431 on November the 12th. And look how sharply it came down. Then it started a new move up. Very soon after that, we added to our long position from April that we still got a little bit left after taking nice profits. And now we've added to that, and we're in a rather aggressive 3 times a small position, but a 3 times long position in the Dow again, the SDOW. Why? Because I can see the 9-period moving average, that little green line it turned green from pink. That's the 9 over the 14. The MACD had a beautiful move to the upside with a nice wide green over the red moving average. That was a good sign. The relative strength was good, not great, but good. But look at this, the stochastic going under 20% and then turning around. And look at that exact ictus at the bottom, with the on-balance volume giving a beautiful turnaround. So this is leg C, and just if I stick to my rules, there should be a pullback to make a peak C. That's below today's high of 48,886. That'll make peak C, and then we should have a leg D. That's where you have to be careful. It could go higher, but that's where you could also get the biggest pullback. But look at this. There's a technique I developed a long time ago called the Chapman Wave Inside Track Repellent Zone. Not just one trend line that people like to draw. I drew 2 very close together. And look how often the price went right. This is the weekly chart of the day, how it went right into there, and then it turned around as it hit the green line. We just hit the green line today. So what's going to happen? We don't know. The 9-period moving average is really strongly over the 14. The MACD, this is the MACD right here, the moving average convergence, divergence, positive. Relative strength, positive. On balance volume, a little bit overbought. That's that blue line. And the stochastic is under 80%. I like it over 80%. So that's just another thing to say. All right, just be careful. Look at the monthly chart. I've got this as a brand new A. Remember my rule that I said if they're going to be a buy signal to a buy mode, it should go to 4 higher peaks. I just have to consider that this is a brand new leg A to the upside. Therefore, we should get a peak A. This is the Dow. That means you have to wait till February, because the whole of January has to have a lower high than whatever the high is in December to make a peak, and then to go to another higher high after that, you need 1 bar to make a new leg up. Otherwise, if there's 1 penny above December's high, it just continues leg A. So if that's the case, we get a peak A anytime. You still have to get a lower bar, that's a monthly bar, then a higher bar, that's a monthly bar, to go to B, and it goes on and on. So that takes you well into 2026. So that's the big picture. I'll be talking about that a lot in my webinar coming up on Tuesday. This is a webinar for subscribers to my opening call. If I can just find it right here. Where did I put it? There it is. So that is right here. So this is opening call subscriber webinar Tuesday, December the 16th, 4 o'clock to 5:30. In fact, every week on Friday afternoon, straight after the market, I do an hour to an hour and a half video overview, what we're looking at. This is going to be a little bit broader because I'm going to add some of the technicals. I'm going to add some of the things that I'm looking at in the big picture for 2026, what looks good going into the new year, where we are, review of some of the Chapman Wave technical tools, just some of them, because I do that in any case every week, plus when I do my daily updates, and sector rotation. That's what we're seeing here. Look at this. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting to see when on earth, if the cyclicals, the deep cyclicals, like Alcoa, look at this. Alcoa made a new recovery high today. We've been long for a little bit. This is Alcoa aluminum. If you're going to go to, look at General Motors, makes an all-time high as we're speaking. We're long General Motors, 81.14. What's going on here? Even Boeing, maybe it's short covering, whatever, but Boeing's acting not badly, not great, but not badly. Why isn't General Electric moving? Well, today's the day. You went from 279.64 yesterday to today's high of 304.01. Finally, maybe we're getting this aircraft engines, electric equipment, because they had a big order coming in. Maybe this is it. So this is the rotation. What's weakened? If you're looking at, let's just see what Amazon's doing right now. Amazon, Amazon's, it's not breaking down, but it's not really leading. Apple, it still needs to go higher, but it's not in this week. It's been kind of faltering. So what I'm looking at is a rotation that's going on. Let's continue. So where was I? S&P, let me go. S&P made a peak C today because it's pulling back, but it's under the previous high. So I've got to watch this very closely, because if next week the S&P, today's low is 6801.79. If it goes down to this area, the gap, this is that huge, remember that big gap on the 26th, was that just after Thanksgiving? So the low is 67.83. If it goes under 67.80 in the next week, that's going to be a problem. That's this whole rotation that we're looking at. If we're looking at the QQQ Index 100 trading right now, sharply down 11.5, 614.11. Remember those famous stocks of the big move up? Iran, we still have some from 22. It went all the way to 76.87. We've taken a lot off. We've got a little bit left. And here it is at 41.30, down 2.64 today, making a lower low. And that's this whole rotation that we're looking at. I'll be back in a moment. We can continue. We want to look at different areas, different sectors, plus a couple of requests. Basil Chapman sitting for Tommy O'Brien. This is the Tom O'Brien Show on this Friday, the 12th. I'll be right back.